I think students who are, really exploring shamanism and looking at it in depth understand that it's a big deal to use that word to describe yourself as a shaman. When did you come to that point of accepting that that was an appropriate term for you to use and to be described as?
Yeah, it's a very important question, especially today with so many deep and important conversations going on about cultural appropriation and people stepping into other people's realms and just cherry picking what they want and not honoring the source. For me, it was a very long journey. I wanted to be recognized as a shaman once I'd understood there was such a thing, but that was more on a young man's ego basis. And I went through, I got torn to pieces many, many times in my journey and in my initiation until I started to understand. And the reason that I decided to accept that term was because my elders from a man called Bikomatis Penta, who was up in the Arctic Circle, a Sami elder, Sami shaman, he told me, look, you have to use that name and you have to explain to the people what it is because it's been somewhat appropriated by fashion, by all kinds of things. And but the moment, there's a very particular moment when I really got that this was something that I felt to take on really as a service,
Mm.
as a to the practice of shamanism, which I'm very passionate about. And I was in the Amazon and we go there. We used to go there before lockdown,
Before people could meet in
and
person. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yes, bit difficult to do Zooms with people in the Amazon, but but we take groups there to support the indigenous people there to protect their lands, their culture, the forest, and to get their message out. And I was there working, and an old shaman from another village had heard that I was there and walked 2 days with his wife to come and see me to ask for a healing. And I was working with him. And there was all the time I was working with him, there was a little old woman sat on the other side of the hut. It's a round, thatched, open sided hut right in the middle of the forest. And I could really feel this woman's eyes like boring into me as I was working with this guy. And at the end of the work I did with him, he looked at her and she nodded. And he said, well, I didn't really come here for me. I came here for her. This is my wife. And I would like you to work with her. And I went and sat in front of this woman. And this was in the Achua region of the Ecuadorian Amazon. And this woman, she took off her top and she was probably in her 70s and she was the most beautiful wrinkly old Amazonian grandma, and she just sat there in trust, and it really hit me like so deep inside me. These people have nothing to gain from acknowledging this in me. There's no money involved, there's no status involved, there's nothing. And that really gave me the confidence inside me to know that I could walk with this tradition. There are many different shamanic traditions, but with the tradition that myself and my wife had been working with in a good way, in service of life. Because in a way, that's what shamans are. They're in service of life, like many other roles, but it's a particular kind of service. Shamans were the original system thinkers, the original ecologists. They were aware of our place in the web of life and the health, our health, the health of the community, the health of our relationships was completely tied into the health of our relationship with our environment. So that was the moment that did
Oh,
it for me.